Greetings, travelers, and welcome to episode 45 of WesteroSCraft Walks with your honorable host, Dutchguard. In today's episode, we'll be checking out the first part in my three-part series on the Eyrie in the Vale. We've just started here, out on the high road, heading into the mountains of the Vale, and I think if we just walk along this road here, we'll start to see the slopes of the misty mountains of the Vale reveal themselves before us. So this is the western entrance into the Vale, the road that some of our main characters in Game of Thrones, the first book of the book series, travel along. And this is where they are attacked by the clans of the mountain clans of the Mountains of the Moon, which is what this mountain range is called that surrounds the Vale, the Mountains of the Moon. And this project is one of the most ambitious terraforming jobs that we've ever attempted on this server. I think we've achieved our goals, as we've now finished everything that we wanted to accomplish in the Eyrie, and hence why I'm starting this three-part series. And it definitely needs to be three parts, because there is so much to see. If I tried to fit it all into one episode, it'd be at least an hour long. And, well, my computer probably wouldn't be able to handle all the awesome, so I've decided to break it down into three parts. So I'm going to do a lot of talking and walking today. Our goal is to get to the Bloody Gate today. And the Bloody Gate, which, as many of you know, is the primary defense against intruders into the Vale. I mean, just look at these mountains. They're all around us here. They're just so beautiful. Yeah, the Bloody Gate. The Bloody Gate actually dates back all the way to the Age of Heroes, when, according to the books, dozens of armies smashed themselves against the gates without any success of penetrating the Vale. During the Age of the First Men, there was originally a ring fort there. It was later upgraded by an Arryn longer down the line. As we head towards the area, I'll go into more detail about the Arryns and how they came to rule the Vale. But today we're just going to focus on the beautiful terraforming, the Mountains of the Moon. Going to talk a little bit about how we made all of this gloriousness. I'm so sorry if anything renders slow. My computer just can't handle how many mountains there are, but you can just see here slowly rendering this massive mountain, and that's pretty small compared to some of the mountains in the Vale, like the Giant's Lanch upon which the Eyrie sits. So we've got this high road here, which is sort of the first obstacle to overcome when you enter the Vale. It's not particularly a hospitable road, kind of hard for wagons and carts and large groups of people or soldiers or horses to travel along. Oh, nice. We've got some graves here, perhaps for weary wanderers who got lost in the mountains, perhaps were attacked by some of the clansmen in these mountains. In fact, the entire Vale has a special rock type, this type here, which we call the Mountains of the Moon rock type, and it's something that you don't really find anywhere else, and we decided to go with sort of a paler, whiter and gray kind of color for the Mountains of the Moon, which is presumably why they're called the Mountains of the Moon, for their pale, luminous color. And as we sort of head up and up, we'll also perhaps see some snow-capped mountains that are even taller. Oh my god, we've gone... So you can see the road that we started off all the way down there. We're already getting pretty high up, and we're still going up. So the way this road was created, because of the scale of our map, we tend to make our roads really windy and sort of not straight, just to create the illusion of distance. So even though we've probably been walking for about 3 or 4 minutes, we haven't really gone anywhere. We're still on the same side of the same mountain we saw when I opened the video. So that's again something that we wanted to create, so that when we get to the role-playing game aspect of our server, people will really feel like they've traveled far in order to reach different destinations. If everything was just sort of a straight line, getting from, say, the end at the crossroads to the Eyrie might only take 10 minutes. But because of these roads winding around so much, it actually feels like you're traveling quite far, and you're actually investing some time into traveling. Okay, cool. So here we've got some more mountain ranges just loading in front of us. Again, sorry for the rendering times. It's really just to save my computer from completely dying by the end of this video. We can see little mountain lakes and streams forming here. so many streams and rivers from the Riverlands actually have their sources here in the Mountains of the Moon, and you can see why. They're just so tall, and the snow that accumulates at the top melts down and forms all the streams and rivers down in the Riverlands, which feeds all the way down into the God's Eye, or into the Blackwater down by King's Landing. So this is, the source of many of those bodies of water in Westeros. We can see some snow all the way up there. So what we had to do for the Vale is actually pretty mind-blowing. When we originally had our map section... what's this? This looks like some Mountain Clan trouble. I think maybe someone tied up their horse, and some of the clansmen just sort of took advantage and maybe ate the horse. I've got some hooves here, some swords, perhaps from an old battle. More streaks of blood. I feel like if I keep following this path, I'm going to end up in some dangerous territory. It looks like we've got the remnants of a fire. Alright, well, I gotta stay on the beaten path, otherwise I might get into some trouble. But these are all things, again, that we've added to make it more fun to explore. And so you can sort of build some stories for yourself in Westeros. Things that aren't necessarily mentioned in the books, but go in line with the canon that we know. Anyway, back to the Vale. So, again, being one of the most ambitious projects we've ever undertaken, the original map segment we had for the Vale was that sort of the standard elevation where everything was above sea level, and just at one point we thought the mountains just don't look big enough, and we can't make them any bigger because of the height restriction in Minecraft. And even with our custom launcher, we can't get past that. So we thought, right, we're going to scrap this entire section, and we're going to build a new map section in World Painter, which turned out beautifully. And so all these mountains were done in World Painter. So this is a massive area, maybe like, a tenth of our entire map size. We just completely demolished and redid. And now the ground level, the very base level of the Vale, is actually below sea level, as low as we could get it to go, just so that when you're sort of at the slopes, at the base of these mountains, they just look massive. I mean, even we're halfway up this mountain, and this mountain still looks huge. You can see some of the snow build up in the peaks there. Again, some of these beautiful water features here, which were terraformed so lovingly, using World Edit, Voxel, Sniper, and a lot by hand, actually, as well. Just sort of the planning stages. Everything just has to be sort of carved out and marked by hand. And there's all these really complex water systems that really need a lot of TLC, tender love and care, which eventually created what you see here. Alright, we've got some more water features here. All these streams, again, lead all the way down to their respective end games, usually the God's Eye or the Blackwater, on this side of Westeros, anyway. Right, so we're continuing upwards, and we can see some more snow build up there, so it must be getting pretty chilly. I don't think I brought a coat, so let's try and get away from these upper slopes as soon as we can. Really cool. Look at this pass through the tops of these mountains here. Again, another great place for some of those clansmen to come and ambush you. Definitely going to be installing some of those hostile enemies up there when we get to the RPG. This is just going to be one of those great places to explore and walk through to try and get to the Eyrie. Beautiful mountain lake, streams coming up here, again melting down from the snowfall at the tops of these mountains here. I've also added in all these lovely bushes and trees and all this greenery that we see down here along the water sources up in these mountains. I think I see a bridge up ahead. So that's pretty cool. Again, we've just tried to add little features here and then, like trying to make the walk interesting. So here we've got this lovely sort of ash-colored bridge built across this little stream here. I mean, just the detail. I mean, look at that. I mean, I can't even get the top of the mountain in my render distance, but just the detail that was put here, just amazing, incredible. Kind of detail. Looks like we've got some watchtowers here, and I believe this is the beginning of the Bloody Gate. Yeah, looks like it. So, I mean, imagine if you're an army marching through the Vale. You're like, right, guys, we're going to take it. We're going to take the Eyrie. And you see this. You've got arrows flying at you, and you've got to travel up this narrow path. You're on the lower ground, and then you turn the corner, and all along the walls of the mountains here, you've got these battlements and hundreds of archers firing down upon you. I mean, this is worse than, like, the Battle of the 300. Like, you just can't get... It's just impossible. And then you see this massive gate, and you're like, guys, I don't think this is gonna happen. And by then, I'd be pooping myself, and I'd be running back to Mommy's house by now. But here it is, guys. That is the Bloody Gate. It just looks so intimidating and imposing, which is what it's supposed to kind of do. So as I said before, there was originally a ring fort here built in the style of the First Men, and when the Andals came and the Arryns came and defeated the First Men who ruled the Vale, they must have built the new Vale here, or the new Bloody Gate. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was Osric v. Arryn who built the Bloody Gate. So that was still a couple hundred years ago, but as I said, this sort of defensive bottleneck has existed for thousands and thousands of years, and is what makes the Vale so powerful and defensible. You can see up there, actually, the flags of the Arryns up on the left there, and on the right, I believe, that is the flag of the Royces, who also helped to defend the Vale by the Bloody Gate. So we're just going to head under this huge portcullis here, and these massive iron-studded gates. And you can see, I love this little detail as well, you can see these holders, and that's for, I guess, just a massive timber log to be placed across this gate, again, for defense. So once we enter the Bloody Gate, we've got some stables over here, I'm guessing for donkeys, which is sort of the preferred method of travel in the Vale, if you've read some of the journeys upwards to the Eyrie in Game of Thrones. Right, we've got some more stables back here. Looks like we've got a forge here with some horseshoes, and some more storage area over here. So this is sort of the back end of the Bloody Gate. We'll see if we can try and get upwards to those turrets up there. And if the render distance will load in, this is the view to behold once you enter the Vale. Just for this, I'm going to completely beef up my render distance and just see what happens. And this view should just unfold before us. We've got this beautiful winding path, which is a bit of canon information, that leads down into the Vale of Arryn. And from this view, again, apologies, Minecraft just can't handle it, but you should be able to see fields and farms and towns stretching out all the way out to the narrow sea. And you see all kinds of forts and keeps and bridges and rivers, and there's vast streams and lakes, crystal lakes studding the Vale, and that'll be something that we see in the next part of this little 3-part series. But as you can see there, it is really trying its best. It'll get there eventually. Maybe by the time we get to the top of the Bloody Gate, we'll see something. Let's just head through this gate here. Got a little laundry facility, looks like, a little kitchen over here. Again, no detail left untouched here. Everything here we've considered. We've got a big granary store here. If the Bloody Gate is under siege, of course, they can always get more supplies from the Eyrie. Looks like a really cool common hall here. So we head up here, and we've got another sort of feasting hall here, I guess, maybe for Lord of the Bloody Gate. There's no Lord of the Bloody Gate. Actually, the official title of the Defender of the Bloody Gate is known as the Knight of the Gate, and he sort of says this thing, which I don't want to say yet. I want to say it when I'm at the top of the gate. Oh my god, I love it. I love this build. I just think it's just one of those things that I just remember reading about it in the books and just having such a vivid image of what the Bloody Gate looked like, and we've done a pretty good job, I think, of matching what people imagine when they think of the Bloody Gate. Okay, let me just get up to the top here. Pretty sure I'm going the right way. Yeah, here we are. So, say you're the Knight of the Bloody Gate and you're up here and you see some travelers wandering down the road, and you say, "Who would pass the Bloody Gate?" God, that is so cool! Oh, I'm totally nerding out right now. And you can see these massive mountains of the moon here on either side, just intimidating the heck out of anyone walking down this path. Again, this all goes into the history of why the Vale and the Arryns are such a stable house and why they've just never been able to be conquered. I mean, unless you've got a dragon, which is what happened in the War of Conquest, and Visenya Targaryen rode her dragon and just basically said, "Hey, I've got a dragon, surrender." And they're like, "Okay." Just flew right over the Bloody Gate, so not a chance there, really. But otherwise, if you're trying to take the Vale on foot, it's just not going to happen. So here we are at the top of the Bloody Gate, and That's it, guys. That is the bloody gate. That ends part 1. For the next part, we're going to be walking to the gates of the moon. And hopefully that shouldn't take too long. And we're going to explore the gates of the moon, which is some sort of the winter home, the winter lodge of the Aarons. But that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around watching these episodes. And just another bit of good news. The RTX Indiegogo campaign that I mentioned in the previous video has now fully been funded. So if you happen to be a Texan or heading to RTX this year, be sure to keep an eye out for our booth. But yeah, thanks anyway. Thanks for the continual support and the positive feedback. And I'll see you next time for episode 46.